The sky cracked with thunder as a small spaceship fell from the clouds. It hit the ground with a loud crash near the edge of the forbidden forest, a place no alien dared to go. Everyone in the village said a monster lived inside. They called it the Guardian. No one who entered ever came back. From the smoke and fire of the crashed ship, a figure stepped out, a human. His name was Kai. He was alone, tired, covered in dirt and ash. His ship was broken, but he was alive. And he had no idea where he had landed. From the trees, many alien eyes watched him. They hid behind rocks and thick leaves. Some pointed and whispered. Others simply stared. One of them was a young alien girl named Nairi. She had silver blue skin and wide, glowing eyes. She had never seen a real human before. "Why did he land here?" she whispered to herself. "Does he not know about the Guardian?" Kai looked around. His ship sparked and hissed. He needed help, but he didn't see any. Buildings, only trees. Thick, black, twisting trees. His food was gone, his water tank was broken. He had no choice. He walked into the forest. Gasps echoed from the bushes where the aliens were hiding. "He's going to die," someone said. "Poor thing doesn't know what's inside," said another. But Nairi didn't move. Her eyes stayed on him. He disappeared into the trees. Hours passed. The sky turned dark. A cold wind blew from the forest. Everyone waited for a scream, blood, or silence. Instead, they heard a low rumble. Not a roar, not a scream. Footsteps. Heavy footsteps. Then, to their shock, they saw Kai return from the forest. But he was not alone. Walking beside him was the Guardian. The giant beast looked like a mix of wolf and lion. Its body was covered in thick black fur. Its eyes burned like fire. Its claws were long and sharp. Everyone knew it could rip a person in two, but it didn't attack. It walked beside the human, calm, silent, like a pet. Gasps filled the air. Some screamed, others ran. The council elders looked on with wide eyes. One dropped his staff in fear. Nairi didn't move. She kept staring. Her heart pounded in her chest. "What did I just see?" she whispered. Kai stopped walking at the edge of the forest. The beast sat next to him, its giant head resting near his, like a guard dog. He looked at the silent crowd of aliens. "I'm not here to hurt anyone," he said slowly. "I was just looking for water. I met this guy and he didn't eat me." No one answered. The Guardian let out a low, soft growl, but it wasn't angry. It almost sounded like affection. The elder of the village finally stepped forward. His voice trembled. "You entered the forbidden forest and lived." Kai looked confused. "Yeah. Why? Is that unusual?" The elder pointed at the beast. "That is the Guardian. It has killed everyone who dared enter that forest for generations." Kai turned to the beast, then back to the crowd. "Well, maybe no one tried talking to it." Silence. Nairi's mind raced. How? How did this human survive? Why was the Guardian so calm? Did he use some kind of weapon? Some trick? No. She had watched closely. He didn't use force. He had talked to it. He had offered food, a hand, kindness. That night, Nairi couldn't sleep. She sat near her window, staring out at the forest. She saw a small campfire glowing in the distance. Kai was still out there, with the beast, not dead, not afraid. She had to know the truth. Quietly, she slipped out of her home and moved through the dark paths of the village. Her feet were silent. Her heart was not. She reached the edge of the forest. She saw them. Kai sat beside the fire. The Guardian lay nearby, resting. He wasn't controlling. He wasn't forcing it. They looked like friends. Nairi stepped forward. A branch snapped under her foot. Kai looked up. So did the beast. Nairi froze. But the beast didn't growl. It didn't leap. It simply blinked. Kai stood up and raised a hand gently. "It's okay," he said. You can come closer. She stepped out slowly. How? She asked. How did you tame the guardian? Kai looked down at the sleeping beast. I didn't tame him, he said softly. I just showed him I'm not like the others. Nairi couldn't stop thinking about the human. All night her mind repeated what she saw, the way the giant guardian followed him like a friend, not a monster. The way it rested beside him, not growling, not attacking. The way he smiled, calm and fearless. She had heard stories since she was a child. The guardian is a cursed beast. It eats anyone who enters the forest. Even our best hunters died there. But now everything had changed. A human had walked in and come back alive. With the guardian, Nairi needed answers. Not from the council, not from the stories, from him. At sunrise, while the others were still afraid to even speak of the event, Nairi packed some fruit in a cloth and left quietly. She followed the path toward the forest, toward the smoke rising from the human's little fire. She stayed, hidden in the bushes at first, watching. Kai was sitting on a rock, his hands dirty with ash. He was fixing some metal parts from his broken ship. The guardian beast lay beside him, eyes half shut, tail slowly tapping the ground. Nairi didn't understand. That thing had killed her uncle. But now, it looked like a sleepy dog. Suddenly, Kai looked up. You can come out now, he said without turning. Nairi froze. He couldn't have seen her. She was quiet. She was trained to hide better than most in her village. Your fruit smells nice, Kai added with a grin. You're not that far. Nairi stepped out slowly, holding the cloth tight. You knew I was there? Kai nodded. The beast knew first. He always knows. Nairi looked at the creature. Its burning eyes opened and stared right at her, but without hate, just curiosity. She took a careful step forward. I brought food, she said quietly. Kai smiled. Then you're already more polite than the last people I met here. They sat near the fire. Nairi offered him the fruit. Kai took one and bit into it with thanks. You're brave, he said. Not many would return after seeing what they saw yesterday. I'm not brave, she replied. I'm curious. Kai raised an eyebrow. Nairi stared at the guardian. It licked its paw like a lazy cat. I've never seen it act like this, she whispered. It tore apart a warrior 2 winters ago. Why didn't it hurt you? Kai took a slow breath. I didn't show fear. I didn't show anger. I just treated it like I would treat a scared child. Nairi looked confused. A child? Yes, Kai said. Pain can turn anyone into a monster. But if you show them peace first, sometimes they remember who they were before. She looked down at the fire. The flames danced in her eyes. Our people betrayed it, she said. A long time ago they captured it, tried to chain it. It broke free and killed many. That's when the council called it cursed. Kai nodded slowly. That makes sense now. His scars aren't just on his body, they're deep. The guardian suddenly stood. Nairi flinched, but Kai gently raised a hand. It's okay. He's just stretching. The beast walked around them, then lay again, closer this time to Nairi. Her hands shook a little. Kai watched her. He knows you're not like the others. You mean I'm not like the council? No, Kai said. You're like him. Hurt by the truth, but not blind to it. Hours passed. Nairi asked many questions. Kai answered them simply. Where he came from, why he was traveling alone, how his ship broke during an asteroid storm. But one question remained on her lips, stuck like a thorn. Will you stay? Kai looked at her surprised. She continued, The council. They won't like what they saw. They'll call you a threat. They'll fear the beast even more now. Kai looked at the creature beside him, then at the sky. I don't want trouble, he said. I just want to fix my ship and leave. Nairi nodded, trying not to look disappointed. But, he added, I won't run either. Nairi looked up. If your people want peace, I'll give them peace, but if they choose fear, I'll protect him. He's done nothing wrong. She smiled softly for the first time. You sound like someone in a story. Kai grinned. Maybe we're all in one. Back at the village, whispers were growing. The council had seen Nairi walk toward the forest, and she hadn't returned. They began to worry, not for her safety, but what she might believe now. Nairi sat near the fire watching the guardian sleep. Its huge body rose and fell with each breath. Even resting, it looked powerful, but in that quiet moment it didn't look dangerous. It looked tired, like it had been fighting for too long. Kai was sharpening a piece of broken metal. Neither of them spoke much since sunrise. Nairi finally broke the silence. Will you tell me the truth now? Kai paused. About what? About what happened in the forest. The real reason it didn't kill you. He smiled a little and looked into the fire. I gave it my water, he said. I was thirsty too, but it looked worse. Its tongue was dry. Its fur was dirty. Its leg was bleeding. So I sat down, placed the bottle between us and said, if you want it, it's yours. Then I closed my eyes and waited. Nairi leaned in. What happened next? Kai chuckled. He drank all of it. Then he nudged me with his head. Nairi's eyes widened. That's it? Kai nodded. I think no one ever gave him a choice before. Later that day, Kai and Nairi followed the guardian deep into the forest. The creature moved slowly but surely, as if it remembered every tree, every stone. They reached a place no alien had seen in years, a giant stone gate covered in glowing vines and carvings. What is this place? Nairi asked. Kai stared in awe. I think this is where he came from. The guardian pushed the gate with its head. The vines lit up, soft blue light pulsing through them like blood. The stone door slowly opened. Inside was a temple, walls covered in old art. Statues of the guardian, but smaller, gentle-looking, with children around them. Nairi stepped inside, trembling. These are not stories our people tell. Kai pointed at one wall. There, carved in crystal, was a large painting. The guardian, protecting a village of Nairi's people. Smiles. Peace. Then, betrayal. Chains. Spears. Fire. The next part showed the guardian breaking free, wounded and angry. Then, darkness. Nairi turned away. Tears filled her eyes. All this time, we thought it was a monster, she whispered. But we made it one. Kai didn't say anything. He simply placed a hand on the beast's shoulder. The guardian stared at all his breath grew heavy. His eyes burned, not with rage but with grief. Hours passed. They sat under the broken roof of the temple with golden light spilling in from above. Nairi looked at Kai. Why are you helping him? Kai shrugged. He reminds me of someone. Who? My brother, Kai said quietly. He was different, quiet, strange. People bullied him. One day he ran off into the forest on Earth and got lost. Everyone thought he was just weird. But he was hurting. Nairi listened closely. Kai's voice was steady, but his eyes were distant. I found him days later. Cold, scared, covered in bruises. He looked at me and asked, why didn't anyone help me? Kai looked at the guardian. I never want anyone to ask that again. Nairi stood. We need to show this temple to the village. Kai shook his head. They won't believe it. The council controls the stories. Then we bring the story to them ourselves. Kai raised an eyebrow. Nairi smiled for the first time that day. I know a few people who will listen. Not the elders, not the warriors, but the young ones. The ones who still ask questions. Kai nodded. And the guardian? He asked. Nairi looked back at the beast who now sat calmly between them. He's coming too. Back in the village, the council gathered in a dark chamber. A scout knelt before them. My lords, the girl walks with the human. Murmurs filled the room. She must be brought back, before her mind is poisoned further. And the guardian? He still follows the human. The High Elder stood slowly. Then we must prepare. If that beast comes near the village walls, we end this, once and for all. That night, Nairi and Kai camped just outside the forest. The guardian curled around the fire like a shadow. Nairi whispered, "They won't accept this easily." Kai looked into the flames. No truth ever is. The council hall was made of black stone and silence. 7 elders sat in a circle, their faces lit by cold blue fire. No joy lived in their eyes, only rules, fear, and power. A soldier bowed before them. "She walks with the human," he reported. "She speaks of peace, and the guardian." The High Elder narrowed his eyes. His voice was like dry leaves. "And the beast?" "Still follows the man, obeys him, sleeps by his fire like a trained pet." Another elder slammed his staff. "That thing is not a pet. It is a curse." "The villagers are whispering," the soldier added. "Some say the human has tamed the guardian. They're calling him a healer of monsters." Murmurs spread among the elders. "She poisons our youth. She forgets her duty. She forgets our blood." The High Elder stood. His shadow stretched long across the floor. Then we remind her, "Bring them both back, alive if possible." That same morning, Nairi and Kai were heading toward the village. Behind them, the guardian walked silently, his giant paws leaving soft prints in the dirt. Children hiding in the woods peeked at the trio, eyes wide with wonder. "Are we really doing this?" Kai asked. Nairi nodded. "It's time they see the truth," but they didn't reach the gate. Not yet. 5 armored soldiers blocked the path. Their armor was painted with marks of the council. "Nairi of Clan Velen," one shouted. "You are ordered to return at once." She stepped forward. "Under what crime?" "Blasphemy. Speaking with cursed creatures. Trusting outsiders." Kai stepped beside her. "So kindness is a crime now?" The soldiers pointed their weapons at him. "Human, your presence is illegal. You walk with a beast of death. Surrender." The guardian stepped between them. With one low growl, the ground trembled. Weapons shook in soldiers' hands. One took a nervous step back. "Hold!" the lead soldier barked. But the guardian didn't attack. It simply stood there, unmoving. A wall of muscle and meaning. Kai raised his voice. "He's not hurting anyone. We didn't come to fight. We came to talk. We do not talk with monsters." Nairi stared at the soldiers, her voice firm. "Then maybe we are the monsters." The soldiers hesitated. None of them stepped forward. Finally, the lead one lowered his weapon. "You have one day. Then the council acts." He turned and led the group back toward the walls. Nairi and Kai entered the village slowly. Everyone stared. Fathers pulled their children back. Mothers whispered warnings. But no one screamed. No one attacked. And the guardian? He walked calmly, eyes steady, ignoring the fear around him. They stopped at the village square. Nairi stood on a stone platform once used by the council to make announcements. Now, it was hers. She raised her voice. "People of El Sari, you've heard the stories. You've seen the fear. But today I bring you something else." She turned toward the guardian. "He was once our protector. He saved our ancestors. He gave his trust." She paused. "Then we broke it." Gasps rose from the crowd. Kai stepped forward holding a small glowing crystal. From it, an image flickered to life, the carvings of the ancient temple. Guardians playing with alien children, a peaceful past. People leaned forward. They saw truth. Real truth. Not fear. From the back of the crowd, the High Elder appeared. His face was hard, his voice sharp. "Lies," he shouted. "Ancient tricks. The beast manipulates you." Nairi stepped down, calm but strong. "Then let him speak." The crowd went silent. Even the wind stopped. Kai looked at the guardian. Do you want to show them? The beast stepped forward. Then, he bowed his head, a deep, respectful bow. Not to Kai, not to Nairi, to the village, a sign of peace. The crowd murmured. Some wept, some knelt. A child walked forward and touched the beast's fur. No claws, no teeth, just stillness. The High Elder's hand shook with rage. Enough, he screamed. Guards, seize them. But no one moved. The soldiers who had returned earlier stood still. They looked at the people, then at the beast, then at the council, and they dropped their weapons. Kai looked at Nairi. You were right. Some will listen. Nairi smiled. But not all, she said. Not yet. Back in the council chamber, the High Elder stood alone. His voice whispered like smoke. If the people will not obey the law, then they will learn through fear. Behind him, in the shadows, something old and cruel began to wake. That night the village wasn't quiet. Fires burned in doorways. Voices filled the air. Some cried in fear, others whispered with hope. And in the center, under the moonlight, stood the guardian, not as a monster, but as a symbol. Children played nearby. A brave few even patted its thick fur. The great beast didn't move, only blinked slowly like it was dreaming. Maybe of the past, maybe of peace. Nairi sat on a rooftop, watching it all. Kai joined her, 2 mugs of warm tea in his hands. You started something, he said, handing her one. She looked down at the village. No, she replied. We did. But not all hearts had changed. The High Elder had vanished from the public eye. The council doors were locked. Some claimed he had gone to the ruins beneath the village, to the old prison chambers built long before even the Guardian's time. What he was doing down there, no one knew. By morning, the council spoke again. Their words were sharp, cold, and broadcast through crystal towers. You have chosen to follow an outsider. You have chosen to believe the lies of a beast. From this day forward, all who stand with the Guardian are exiled. Gasps echoed through the streets. Families clutched each other. Soldiers stood confused, but no one dared speak back yet. Nairi stepped into the central square. The crowd had gathered. Faces were full of fear and questions. She climbed the stone steps again, this time with no script, no plan, only heart. They want to exile us for believing in peace, she said. But what kind of law punishes kindness? Whispers stirred. They say the Guardian is still dangerous, she continued. But who's holding the chains now? Who's truly dangerous? This creature who protects children, or the men who fear truth? A voice shouted from the crowd. What do we do then? Leave? Nairi looked at Kai. He nodded. Then we build something new. The next day, over 40 villagers left the walls, mothers, sons, daughters, builders, farmers. They followed Nairi and Kai into the trees. The Guardian led the way. They didn't go far, just beyond the forbidden forest. Near the temple ruins. There they built fire pits, opened food packs, and began again. It was no longer exile. It was a new village. Kai worked beside them, cutting fallen trees, fixing power tools, repairing shelters with spare parts from his ship. Nairi organized the children, taught them the old songs she remembered from her grandmother, the ones that spoke of the Guardian as a friend, not a monster. And every night, under the stars, they all sat by the fire together, human, alien, beast, together, free. But peace is never safe for long. On the 5th night, smoke rose in the sky, not from their fires, but from the old village behind them. A small boy came running through the trees, panting hard. They're coming, he cried. The High Elder, he's coming with something huge. Everyone froze. Kai stood slowly. How huge? The boy's voice shook. Metal huge. It walks on legs. It glows red. It's not alive, but it kills. Nairi's heart dropped. She turned to the Guardian. He had already stood, his body stiff, ears alert, eyes glowing brighter than ever. He remembered. That weapon, it was from the old wars, built to kill creatures like him. Nairi ran to Kai. You've seen machines like this? Kai nodded grimly. On dead planets, they don't stop. They don't feel. They only follow one command: destroy. She gritted her teeth. Then we protect what we built. He met her eyes. And if we fall? We fall together. At dawn they heard it. Boom, boom, boom. The ground shook with each step. Trees cracked. Birds fled. From the smoke emerged a giant machine, 8 legs covered in thick black armor, glowing with red light. At its head stood the High Elder, his voice echoing from inside. Return now, and you will be spared. Resist, and be erased. The villagers trembled. Some stepped back. But Nairi raised her hand. The guardian walked forward and stood in front of them. Then Kai stepped beside it. And, slowly, so did the others. Farmers, mothers, even children. One by one they stood together, unarmed, unbroken. The High Elder's voice rose again. You chose the beast over your own kind. Now, witness the cost. The machine aimed. Its chest opened. A red glow gathered. But then, the guardian roared, not in fear, in defiance. And in that moment, even the trees seemed to hold their breath. The machine's chest opened wider. Red light burned like a sun trapped inside a cage. Smoke hissed from its vents. Energy pulsed in its core. Metal legs dug into the ground, ready to fire. And still, the guardian stood tall, between the people and the weapon. Nairi grabbed Kai's arm. It's charging. Kai didn't move. His eyes stayed on the beast beside him. No, he said softly. He is. The guardian took a slow step forward. The ground shook beneath its paws. Its back arched, its mane flared with sparks of golden energy, something ancient, something awakened. The machine fired. A burning beam of red plasma shot forward. Fast, hot, deadly. Screams echoed. But the guardian leaped. His massive body collided with the beam, not to dodge it, but to eat it. Light poured over him, but he didn't fall. He roared so loud the sky trembled. Then, the beam stopped. The machine's glow faded. Its core dimmed. Steam burst from its joints. It had overheated, trying to destroy a creature that wouldn't break. The High Elder inside the cockpit stared in disbelief. Impossible. This weapon was built to kill gods. From the forest behind him, another voice spoke. No, Kai said, stepping forward. You just tried to kill a protector. The guardian turned toward the machine now. Its eyes glowed white. Not with hate, but with power. It walked slowly, each step heavy, filled with judgment. Then, it roared again. This time, the roar wasn't just sound, it was memory. The machine's red glow flickered, and suddenly holograms burst from its chest. Memories, images from long ago. The day the guardian first arrived. It had been called by the elders of old to protect the village from sky beasts. It saved hundreds, it built walls, it stood watch through storms and war. But then, a new council rose. They wanted control. They tried to cage the guardian. It refused. They attacked. They failed. And ever since, they called it a curse. The holograms vanished. The villagers stared at the truth, open, raw, undeniable. Nairi stepped forward. You lied to us, she said loudly. For generations, you made us fear our own defender. The High Elder's face twisted in rage. They would not follow us unless they feared something. Kai shook his head. Then you were never leaders. You were tyrants hiding behind a story. The guardian moved closer to the machine, but he didn't strike. He looked up at the cockpit, at the elder who tried to erase him. Then he did something no one expected. He knelt. His massive body lowered. His head bowed. A choice. Mercy. The High Elder stared at the creature. A shiver passed through him. Not from cold, but from shame. He opened the cockpit slowly. He stepped out. For the first time in his life, he looked small. He looked down at the guardian, then at the villagers who once obeyed him. He dropped his staff. I was wrong. The machine fell quiet. The glow faded completely. Soldiers from the old village arrived, but seeing their elder step down, they too dropped their weapons. No one clapped. No one cheered. It was a silence deeper than sound. A silence of change. Later that day, under the tall trees, the villagers built a stone marker. Not a cage. Not a chain. A tribute. To the guardian. Not as a beast, but as a protector. A judge. A friend. That evening, the sky turned orange. Kai sat near the fire again. The guardian lay nearby, resting peacefully. Nairi sat beside him. You knew he wouldn't kill the elder, she said. Kai shook his head. No, but I hoped he'd choose something better. Nairi smiled. He judged and forgave. Kai looked at her, then at the stars. Sometimes, that's the bravest thing of all. The guardian raised his head and let out one last soft sound. A hum, a song, low and ancient, as if something old had finally healed. 1 week had passed since the battle. The machine had been taken apart. The council had stepped down. And the guardian. He still stayed. But this time, not in the shadows, not feared. He walked freely among the people, not like a beast, but like an elder spirit whose presence brought safety and calm. Children followed him like he was a legend come alive. And in a way, he was. Kai stood at the edge of the rebuilt village, no longer exiles, no longer afraid. He watched the people raise new homes with both wood and memory. The old temple had been cleaned, statues repaired, carvings painted again. It was not just a village now. It was a symbol, a home where truth mattered more than power. Nairi approached him, her steps light. In her arms was a folded cloth. I want to show you something, she said. Kai raised an eyebrow. If it's food, I'm in. She smiled and opened the cloth. Inside was a carved necklace made from crystal and wood, shaped like the guardian's paw. Kai touched it gently. What is it? A token, she said. From our oldest rites, it means bond. Not ownership, not command, just trust freely given. Kai looked surprised. You're giving this to me? She shook her head. I'm giving it to both of you. She turned and tied the necklace gently around the guardian's thick neck. The beast tilted its head, then gave a low, pleased growl. Then she handed Kai a second one. He smiled and wore it proudly. You know, he said, on Earth, we usually shake hands to show respect. Nairi blinked. Shake what? Kai laughed and gently offered his hand. Nairi looked at it puzzled, then mirrored the gesture. Their hands met. It was small, but the meaning was loud. 2 worlds, 2 stories, 1 future. Later that evening, the new council gathered for the first time, not a circle of elders, but builders, mothers, students, travelers. Voices that had once been silent, now helped shape law. They voted on the first pact, a written promise between their people and the guardian. It had only 3 rules. No truth shall be hidden. No voice shall be silenced. No one shall stand alone. The next morning, a ship appeared. In the sky, not a warship, a signal ship from another human outpost. They had found the crash signal from Kai's destroyed craft. They offered him a ride home. But Kai didn't say yes right away. He walked into the forest with Nairi and the guardian. There, under the same tree where he had first offered water, he sat down and thought. He thought of his world. Metal and sky, noise and speed. Then he thought of this one. Quiet, raw, growing. When he returned, his answer was simple. I'll go back. Just to tell them what we found here. Then I'll return. Nairi didn't smile with words. She smiled with her eyes. And the guardian leaned against Kai almost like a hug. As the ship left for Earth, Kai stood at its door and looked down one last time. The village below had changed. The forest had changed. He had changed, and waiting for his return were two souls who no longer saw him as a stranger, but as a brother. 3 moons later, Kai returned, with tools, books, seeds, stories, and not alone. 2 other humans stepped off the ship behind him, one an engineer, one a healer. The village welcomed them, not with fear, but with food and open arms, even. The guardian lowered his head in greeting. Time passed. Children with mixed skin colors played under the stars. New temples were built with both alien art and human design. The guardian remained, older now, slower, but always watching, always guarding, on. One quiet evening, a child asked Nairi a question. Did the human really tame the guardian? Nairi smiled and looked across the fire at Kai, who was laughing with 2 toddlers on his lap. Then she looked at the guardian, who was napping peacefully beside a group of young ones using him as a pillow. She shook her head. No, she said, gently. He didn't tame him. The child blinked. Then what did he do? Nairi's eyes softened. He reminded him how to trust again,